Hey there, guys. Just waiting to see if a couple of people jump into the stream here before I get started. See if Larry or Connor or anybody gets in here. Okay, well, nobody on here so far, so I guess maybe I should just get started, huh? Man, what a year it's been on this channel. What a year. I remember years ago just thinking about the possibility of doing YouTube as a job, and how that seemed so unrealistic at the time. Oh, somebody popped in. Matthew! Hey, what's going on, man? Yeah, when I started this journey, to hopefully potentially turn YouTube into a job, it seemed like it was such a crazy idea that it might just never happen. And fortunately, we're getting to a place where it's becoming a possibility. Yeah, it is a bit windy here, which of course it wasn't before I started, and now I get out here and I go live, and and of course I didn't bring my microphones with me today either, so oh, we got somebody else in here. Let's see who it is. Pop into the chat, let me know you're here. But as I was saying, yeah, it didn't really feel like this would ever be a possibility to be an actual career. And now we're getting to the point where it's more than just a possibility, it's almost a probability. And 18 people, oh wow. Aiden Valdez, 8163. Hey, how you doing? Nice to see you. 18 people, wow. But yeah, this, potentially turning into, hold on, you know what, let me move back to the car, and we'll see if that's any better. But, hold on. We're gonna get on the move here real quick. But, I don't know if bringing the phone closer, if you can hear me any better. But anyway, as I was saying, it's wild to me that we've come this far in such a short amount of time, in this being just an idea to it being a real possibility. And the only people that I can really thank for that are you guys, man. Because you guys are the ones that show up. I'm just the weird guy walking around museums and stuff and talking into his microphone. So I have to thank you guys for that, for showing up. Just like you're showing up for me today. And we're coming up on the car here, so it should sound a little bit better in just a second. Whoop. Hold on. Dropped something. And so anyway, here we go. Let's get in the car, and we'll have less wind this way. So anyway, give me just a second here. Disconnect the phone from the gimbal. There we go. That's better. And yeah, it's It's been a ride. It's been a ride. And the ride's only going to get crazier, man. We have so much ahead for this channel. Like, you guys have no idea the amount of things that I have in store that I've been working on for years. Matthew, you're awesome too. But, so, and let me know if this sounds better too. I'm hoping it does. But anyway, as I was saying, there are so many incredible things that I have planned for this channel that I couldn't even begin to tell you guys all of them. And I'm so excited for it. 1,200 pins on a map of stuff that I would like to do for the channel in the future. And all of them are things that excite me, because I don't believe in doing things for this channel just for the views. Everything that you guys see me do on this channel is something that I'm either interested in or that excites me. And that, I think, is the difference. The chat's not moving at all, so I don't know if you guys are hearing me or not. But anyway, I wanted to take a second today to acknowledge something. And this is not to depress anybody, and we'll move on from this pretty quickly. But today, big up, Craig, you got this. Hear you loud and clear. Perfect. Thank you, Matthew. But today, woke up to the news that Rebel from AEW, she's a wrestler from All Elite Wrestling. Some of you may have heard of her. Some of you may have not if you don't watch wrestling. Basically what happened, she's been having health issues for the past 2 years or so. And she announced today that she's been diagnosed with terminal ALS. And that was rough for me to hear. If you guys were here for my last stream, then you heard me talk about on that stream my days working in the haunted house industry back in Illinois. And back then, I knew this woman. Her name was Vicky Stry. And Vicky was the original costumer for the company that I did the haunted house with. And I'm talking about like all of the original costumes for our haunted house. She made them all by hand. And she was absolutely just the absolute loveliest woman. She was always there for us when we were kids. And, when I say kids, I mean, most of us were teenagers. You're so happy. Yeah, me too. I'm happy you're here. Thank you for being here. But Vicky was diagnosed with ALS. And it wasn't long after her diagnosis that she unfortunately passed away. And this almost larger than life, hey Connor, good to see you, man. Glad you're here. This almost larger than life personality of a woman just out of nowhere was snuffed out by ALS. And Vicky was a woman that we all referred to as mom because she treated us like we were all her kids. And she, the funniest story that I have of her, you're only 9 minutes late, that's right. But the best story that I have of Vicky, because she would do the most disgusting things and not have a word of complaint about it. I'm talking about somebody would show up to our haunted house whether it be an actor or customer or whatever, wearing flip-flops, which is always a bad idea. And she because you don't know what's going to happen. There's a lot of people, so there's a lot of feet and a lot of stuff everywhere, even at ground level. And so anyway, this person, and this happened multiple times too, by the way, happened to kick something with their open-toed shoe, and their toenail bent backwards like a car hood. And the only thing you can really do in that situation, all you can really do is just put it back down and tape it down, And so that's what she did. And as disgusting as that is, she did it. She never complained about it. But the funniest story that I have regarding Vicky is that she, we were working on the haunted house in the summer one time, and one of us called her mom or mama or whatever it was, and she looked at us and said, and I kid you not, honey, if I wanted to be called mama, I wouldn't use protection. We were horrified by this because we could never think about that woman in that way, right? But yeah, that's the kind of person that that she was. She was always making people laugh, and she didn't really have a family, at least not that I'm personally aware of. And so my former bosses actually took her into their house and took care of her from the day she got sick until the day she passed away. And all credit in the world to them for that, man. Because that's, oh, hey, Jason. Good to see you, man. Thanks for coming. And they took care of her until the day that she passed away. And so I'll always be grateful to her for that, to them for that. But yeah, hearing that news about Rebel today made it a bit difficult because it brought up all those sad memories, But those are sad memories, but overall, when I think of Vicky, I still smile. And I think that's what she would want. Because, I mean, this is a woman who didn't even want a traditional funeral. She wanted a Viking funeral. Thank you so much, Aiden. She wanted a Viking funeral. And if you don't know what that is, it's basically they put your body on a ship, they sail you out to sea, they set the ship on fire. And of course, they couldn't afford to get like an actual big ship. So they took some of her ashes. And the boss had a little stream in his backyard. And they put her ashes on this little makeshift boat that somebody had made and set her down the stream and lit the little boat on fire. So it was really, really sweet. I unfortunately couldn't be there because didn't have a car at the time, couldn't get to the city, and plus I had to work at the haunted house that night. But yeah, so yeah, that was a little bit rough news to wake up to. And but as I told Rebel, I remember her with fondness. I think of her and I smile, and I think we'll do the same for Rebel when she unfortunately passes away. But anyway, enough with the sad stuff. Let's talk to you guys. Let me know if you guys have any questions or things that you want to talk about. Hit the comments, let me know. And in the meantime, you just got the notification that I'm live. Yeah, Yeah, sometimes YouTube takes a couple of minutes to send those notifications out. So maybe I should starting a couple of minutes ahead of time. I don't know. But I'm actually thinking about potentially making these lives a weekly thing. So if that's something you guys would be into, let me know in the comments. We'll figure out, a day and a time. Right now, 3 o'clock every Friday is looking good for me. We did it. We did what, Connor? I'm not sure what you're talking about. But good idea. Yeah, I think it is because I actually tried to do this on, I think it was Tuesday. Okay, Connor. Okay, I'll try and find you later, Connor. But I think it is a good idea though because I tried to do this on Tuesday on almost no notice. You know what, Matthew? Like maybe one of these days I'll send you an invite and we can do one of these together where we're on camera together and you and I can just have a chat and have people watch, man, just like I did with Jason. Forgot what I was talking about now, but yeah, I would love that to do something weekly and potentially bring in other guests because I have some pretty cool friends, man, all over the place. I have a friend that I know at least Matthew and Jason. Matthew, I don't know if you watch modern wrestling, but I actually have a friend in Chicago that is the head talent handler for Squared Circle Expo in Indianapolis. And so I've thought about, inviting her on for a stream and asking her if she wants to tell stories about her time as a head talent handler for them and, get some funny stories about some of your favorite wrestlers and stuff. But that's actually that's one of the things that is on my docket to do eventually. You don't watch modern wrestling. In fact, I never heard of it. I'm so sorry. No, modern wrestling as in like modern day wrestling, like present day wrestling is what I mean. Not like old school, not like Attitude Era WWE. I'm talking about just stuff that's happening on WWE and AEW TV now. But yeah, she's got some really good stories, so maybe I'll invite her on one day and we can get some stories from her because I'm sure she's got some really really entertaining stuff because she's also someone that no, not indie wrestling, just because I know you are yeah, modern as in today's wrestling, exactly. But Erin is her name, by the way. Erin actually lived in Kentucky during the golden age of Ohio Valley Wrestling. And she was around in the days when John Cena was known as the prototype, and she was actually friends with a few of these guys. And because she was a nurse, she would, stitch them up and stuff like that. So I'm sure that she would have some interesting stories to tell. But yeah, Matthew, I am so excited for your visit next month, man. That's going to be so much fun for both of us, man. We talked about this a little bit on the previous stream, if any of you missed that. But Matthew is flying out here from the UK next month, and we're going to do a video together, me and him, this month. Oh, you're right. It is this month. Today's the 1st. But we're going to do a video together. And you met a blonde CM Punk backstage in TNA. in the early 2000s when you were picking up your wrestling outfit. Yes, Jason, I remember you telling me that story. That's really, really fantastic, man. And I'm glad that you had that experience getting to live your dream too. But Matthew and I, we're going to be going and we're going to be doing a video at Eddie Guerrero's grave in Scottsdale. Matthew wrote a really, really lovely poem to Eddie, and I believe he plans on leaving a copy for the family at the grave. And he's also been kind enough to make a copy for myself as well that he's going to gift to me. And so we're going to go there and I'm going to get video of him reading the poem at Eddie's grave. And then we're going to go out to lunch, and him and I are going to get on camera and talk about our favorite memories of Eddie Guerrero. Yeah, you can, I mean, as long as there's no copyright issues, I'd love for you to share your song, Matthew. But anyway, yeah, so I'm really excited about that. This will be, you know, I don't want to say my first time. I'm getting a hair in my face. There we go. I don't want to say it'll be my first time. Cece, hey, you're here. Good to see you. But I don't want to say that this will be my first time ever meeting a subscriber, because it won't. But it'll be my first time meeting a subscriber that I didn't meet in person first. So Connor, I met Connor in person first. The greeter at my local Walmart is a subscriber. I met him in person first. And so this is going to be my first time meeting someone in person that I exclusively know because of the channel. And I am so excited for that, and to share that time with Matthew. But yeah. So anyway, it's such an exciting time for the channel, man. And there's so many stories that I have to share too from my haunted house days. I don't know how many of you guys are baseball fans, but I grew up a Chicago Cubs fan, and you know, that was kind of for the most of my life has been a point of disappointment. They're known as the lovable losers for a reason. And yeah. But in 2016, something incredibly crazy happened. So I told you guys on the last stream about the time that Brian Urlacher, Hall of Fame linebacker from the Chicago Bears, came to see our show. Oh, the Cubs, yeah, they did win against Arizona today. I didn't see the score, but that's nice to hear. Danhausen needs to uncurse them. Well, apparently he did in 2016. They went 108 years without winning a World Series. And up until 2016, they hadn't been in a World Series. Hadn't even played in a World Series since 1945. So, anyway, so in 2016, our opening week at the haunted house for that year, yet again, a limo pulls up and a big group of people get out of this limo, and I'm in my room, and you know, my job at the time was kind of re-separating people so that they didn't get too clumped up, because it's not like a guided tour, it's a 6 to 5. Okay, perfect, thank you, Matthew. But so anyway, my job at the time was to re-separate groups so that they didn't get too clumped up, because it's a self-guided tour, it's not a guided tour, so you go at your own pace. But anyway, so I'm in there and my room is empty, which should never be the case. And so I ask one of the managers what's going on, and they say some VIPs showed up. And I said, who? And they wouldn't tell me. So then another manager comes into the room, and this is a guy I'd known for the better part of 20 years. And I ask him who it is, and he says, there's a bunch of Cubs players in the bullpen right now. And I said, like, I'm going to need you to tell me who specifically, because that's going to determine how much I'm going to freak out when they come in here. And he said he didn't know, because he's not a baseball fan, so he didn't know who they were. And so they come in the room, and I recognize the first person. Arizona have a great looking baseball shirt. Arizona did really well. They came back from 1 and catched up. Yeah, man, if you haven't seen it, go watch Game 7 of the 2016 World Series, because that was the most stressful baseball game I've ever watched in my life, man, when the Cubs came back. They were actually down in the series 3-1 and came back from that. They ended up winning 3 in a row to take out, I think it was the Cleveland Indians at the time, now known as the Guardians. But anyway, so I recognize the first person that walks into the room. And just to be sure, when he stops, I ask, getting hair in my eye again, just to be sure, I ask him, what's your name? And he says, Addison. And right away, clicked in my head, that's Addison Russell of the Chicago Cubs. And I later found out that all 3 of them, it was Addison Russell, Matt Caesar, and Justin Grimm of the Chicago Cubs. And just a couple of weeks later, Addison Russell would hit a grand slam in Game 7 of the World Series. And that's wild to me. I'm not a baseball fan, but it was on TV at the bowling alley I was at. I thought I'd watch because I love Arizona. Yeah, Arizona's beautiful, man. Yeah, I guess I was good luck. But they came through and they were all absolutely lovely to us. They had a great time and they were so nice. Which is not always the case. Some people can be not so personable, especially celebrities when they're surrounded by, 1,000 drunk and very excited people. But they were incredibly nice and had a great time, played along with the show, and that's all you can ask as a haunted house actor. But so Addison Russell hit that grand slam and the Cubs ended up winning the World Series for the first time in 8 years. Or not 8 years, I wish it was 8 years, 108 years. And it was the wildest thing, man. 1 week, beginning of October, these guys are paying money to come and see me and my friends do what we do. And then a month later, I'm standing in Jackson Park in downtown Chicago and watching them hoist the commissioner's trophy and walk across the stage. Like, what other job does that happen at? That's something that I miss very dearly about it. You're out walking with Chibi and it's time to drive again. If it cuts out, that's why. Okay, well, I hope it doesn't, Jason. It's really nice having you here, and I appreciate the support. Jason is a very good real life friend of mine. We met back in 2018, I believe it was. If memory serves me correctly, it was September 1st, 2018, the day of the original All In that became the catalyst for the launch of All Elite Wrestling. So him and I met that night, and he drove me back to my hotel, since Uber wanted over $100 for what just earlier that day was a $15 ride. So, so he did me a very, very big favor, driving a complete stranger at the time back to their hotel room. But yeah, it's I'm very excited, man. I would love to one day take you guys back to my old stomping grounds. I'd love to do like a hometown tour one day. I'd love to go and do some videos on Held for Review. Oh, it held your comment for review, Connor. There we go. Should be good now. But anyway, so yeah, I'd love to go and do a hometown tour for you guys, or show you some of the places I used to live, stuff like that. My favorite restaurants and stuff, my haunted houses, especially those places. I feel like most of you guys would love those, because those are the most fantastic people I've ever met in my life. Like I said, the boss and his I believe wife. I'm not sure what their status is, but they took care of Vicky from the day she got sick until the day she died. So that should tell you the quality of human being that they are. But I would love to go and do that. I would love to show you guys a day in the life of a haunted house actor. And you know what? Why don't you guys let me know in the comments what kind of stuff you would like to see from me, because I mean, ultimately that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to find out where the intersection is of what I want to do and what you guys want to see. So because I mean, it can be difficult here in Arizona to find stuff to do during the summer, because I got to think about equipment overheating and stuff like that. So it's I have to think about stuff that I can do indoors, like these live streams. I'm eventually going to have to move these indoors because it's just going to get too hot outside for me to be able to sit out here and talk to you guys for 2 hours. So I'm going to have to find a library or something like that where I can go and be in the air conditioning, so I'm not, dying at the same time that I'm talking to you guys. Although who knows, that might get quite a few views if I were to die in the middle of the stream. Bro, a day in the life as a haunted house employee. Yeah, I would love to do that. Showing the process from check-in time to getting ready and then eventually going into the show. Now, I don't know that I'd be able to do that with me as the subject, just because they have, filming rules and stuff like that. And so that and it would just be a lot that I would have to go through in my head. But it's certainly possible if I were to say, pick another person at the haunted house, to follow them throughout their day and see the process that they go through. Because there's a lot of people there that are incredibly, incredibly talented. They have the most amazing makeup artists that I've seen in my life. They have some of the most talented costumers I've ever seen in my life. Prop makers and what do you call them? Carpenters. So there's a lot there. There's a lot that I could do there that would be very interesting, I think, for somebody who's never seen that kind of thing before. And not that it's never been done before, but I don't think I've ever seen somebody do it from the perspective of someone who's worked in the haunted attraction industry before. So that could be fun and interesting. I would love to do that someday. But if I'm going to do it, it would probably be at my former haunt in Illinois. So I'm not sure about doing it here in Arizona just because I don't really know anybody in the haunted house industry here in Arizona. So I'm not sure who I would call. Ghost towns, museums. Yeah, I would love to do that. There are a few museums that I can do that are on my map right now, actually. In fact, the next like long form video that I'm planning on doing is a museum. In fact, I'll tell you which one it is. It's the Musical Instrument Museum. They have some of the most historic musical instruments in the world. I'm talking about instruments that date back to the 1800s. They have a crystal flute there that was owned by Napoleon Bonaparte. So, the Dinosaur Museum, I assume you're talking about the one in Phoenix, and that's on my map as well. I don't know when I'll be able to travel out of state, but what I do know is that I would like to eventually go back and spend maybe a weekend in Tucson, because there's a bunch of stuff in that Tucson area that I would like to go and do. Like, they have a Biosphere 2, which is like, if you've ever seen the Pauly Shore movie Biodome, it's kind of like that. It has like 8 different habitats. It has like a rainforest habitat, a desert habitat, and, you know, all kinds of stuff, all under this one roof that you can tour. Like, they can make it rain indoors. So I think that would be really cool. I'd love to go to Meteor Crater. There's also an aviation museum near Tucson that I'd like to go to as well. One of the big ones that I really want to do, because I've never seen anything like this before, is the Titan Missile Museum. I don't recall exactly where it's at, but it is a decommissioned Titan missile. It is what they're testing for Mars. Yeah, something like that. But I would like to go to the Titan Missile Museum, because this site is actually a former site where they had like a nuclear missile that was ready to go. And the missile is still there, believe it or not. They just removed the nuclear warhead and all that. So it's not dangerous, but they took it and they turned the entire thing into a museum. So I think that would be really, really cool to go and see. As far as out-of-state travel goes, I don't know when I'll be able to start that, because that's going to be costly, and, you know, not making any money off the channel, so can't exactly afford to go and do that. But yes, not making any money off the channel yet. But eventually we'll be starting to travel, hopefully all around the country, because I would like to get onto more of like a Scott on tape type of schedule, which I know he is insanely busy. But and I hope he's doing well too, by the way. I think he was in I saw his live stream. I think he was in South Carolina. But he's going to be taking most of the summer off, from what he said. So Who knows? Maybe he'll jump into some of these live streams with us, like he did the last time. But yeah, I'd like to get on more of a schedule like that. I don't know that I would ever do full time vlogging because that just seems like it would be so tiring. Like Jacob the Carpetbagger, that dude works so hard. Like I was just listening to, watching his video yesterday, and he flat out said that the reason why he doesn't upload in 4K is because it would take so long because of the file sizes for it to upload, and he has to edit, export, and upload his videos before he goes to bed every night so that they can be published in the morning, which would be an insane schedule if you're uploading in 4K. Like, I can do 4K. He's in North or South Carolina. Yeah, somewhere around there. I forget exactly where. But yeah, I'm able to upload in 4K right now just because I don't do as many videos as those guys do. And so I can take my footage, put it on my phone, edit it, get it uploaded, and then offload it to a hard drive, and I'm done. And get it, of course, get the video uploaded. But yeah, so their workflow is a lot more hectic than mine. Like, Scott sometimes is shooting 2 videos in one day, which I don't know that my ADHD would allow me to do that kind of pace. That feels like it would just be a little bit excessive for me. But the idea of doing between 1 and 3 videos a week once I start traveling, yeah, that's probably a possibility. I would love to do that, man. There's so many places that I want to go that I've never been before. I've been to quite a few places, but mostly in the central part of the country. Like, until I moved to Arizona, I had never been this far west before. I think the furthest west I ever went was like Oklahoma at the time. And so seeing mountains and stuff when I came here was kind of crazy. But I would love to go to California, specifically LA and Sacramento, and see the Golden Gate Bridge, Alcatraz. I'd love to go to New York. I've been to Wisconsin, but I'd love to go there. Love to visit Dollywood. And I was just talking to Larry, Be Yourself Adventures, about this. But so I come from a very big family, right? My dad had 5 brothers. Unfortunately, my Uncle John passed away a couple years ago from, I believe it was brain cancer, I believe it was. I could be wrong on that. But so my Uncle Brad, he had a really, really good job. And won't say what it was or where he worked, but he was always having people invite him to suites for White Sox games, suites at the local drag strip, all kinds of stuff. And he will say that he made very good money, okay, to say the very least. And you're about to see what I mean by that. So Brad, every year, he would pay for the entire family. I'm talking about brothers, spouses, children, and their mother, all to go to Walt Disney World for a week. And I'm talking about almost all expenses. He would pay for a week's stay for everybody at the Animal Kingdom Lodge, a week's park hopper passes for everybody. And the only things that he wouldn't pay for were food, souvenirs, and travel. That's it. Everything else was 100% paid for. And this was, of course, before, in the days before like the paid lightning lanes and all that stuff they're doing now. And we, because my parents worked very, very hard, we could never afford to do it. Either it was didn't have the money, or my parents just couldn't take the time off of work. And so we never got to go. And to this day, at 37 years old, I've never been to a Disney or a Universal park. My mom's never been to a Disney or Universal park. My dad never been to a Disney or Universal park. So I would love one day, and I would probably make a video out of this, I would love one day to be able to bring my mom to Disneyland or Disney World, preferably both. And I would really love to take her to Universal Hollywood, because I really think she would love the studio tour. I feel like that would just be so much fun and such a special experience for us. Got to get some water. My voice is getting a little hoarse from talking so much. But if you guys have been to Disney or Universal, let me know what you like about it. Let me know if you'd like to see that kind of content. Me going to Disney or Universal for the first time, bringing my mom along with, because like I said, I'm trying to poll you guys. I want to know what you want to see, what you don't want to see. So, because I'm just kind of rambling here. So, but yeah, there's a million things I would love to do. I think I might try to do Phoenix Fan Fusion in June. Not 100% on that yet. But John Cena is going to be there. So, and I'm a huge John Cena fan, always have been. But I'll tell you what I really miss, and this is something that I really want to do. Jacob the Carpetbagger has done this a couple of times. Tampa J has done this a couple of times. They have done something called Transworld. And Transworld is the big Halloween and attractions trade show that happens every year in St. Louis. And it's where every major haunted attraction in the country goes to buy all of their supplies, all of their new props, costumes, makeup, and all that for the season. And it's where all the major manufacturers go to show off all their new stuff in person. And so I would love to take you guys to that, because there is so much that happens around Transworld. And like there's haunted houses that they have lights on tours and stuff like that. They have a special night at this place called the City Museum, which I've never been, but everybody that I know that's been there has loved it. And it's basically, from what I understand, it's a former shoe warehouse in St. Louis that was taken over by like a group of artists, and they took this old warehouse and turned it into like the biggest playground jungle gym with the craziest stuff in there. I can't even describe it to you, but there's a million different places to crawl through and climb through, and there's a couple of airplanes, gutted airplane bodies that are hanging out of the building or on top of the building. There's a school bus that hangs off of the edge of the top of the building that you can climb into, and you can open the door and look out over the edge. So yeah, um, I would love to do. I've already done the Budweiser Brewery tour, but it was before I had started doing this channel. So that would be cool to do if they allow filming. I'm not sure if they do or not. I'd love to do the St. Louis Zoo because I've heard amazing things about it, and I love zoos. My first video for this channel was at the zoo, and Connor can vouch for this. I actually showed him a clip of it yesterday or the day before, but that video was absolutely atrocious. For the first half of the video, the audio sounds like this, and then halfway through, it just clears up to crystal clear because I was still trying to figure out the technical end of things. But so anyway, I would love to go and do the St. Louis Zoo, and there's one thing actually near the St. Louis Zoo, but outside of it, that I would like to do, but I'm just not sure how I can make it interesting. And yeah, I see you, Connor. Yeah, it was pretty rough, that one. But and what that is I am fascinated by the 1893 Chicago World's Fair. And like so much stuff came out of that World's Fair. Cracker Jacks. That was the first place that Cracker Jacks were ever sold. That I forget what else, but there's a bunch of things. Look, I encourage you all, look up all the things that made their debut at the 1893 World's Fair in Chicago. One of them, though, is the Ferris wheel. The first ever Ferris wheel was on the Midway Plaisance at the 1893 World's Fair in Chicago. And after the fair, it actually traveled around for a bit. They kept it in one of the neighborhoods for a while. It wasn't financially viable there, so they took it down, and I think they used it 2 more times at 2 different fairs. And the last time it was ever used was at the World's Fair in St. Louis. And so after it was done in St. Louis, there was really nowhere for it to go. Nobody wanted it because this thing was massive. Like, not by today's standards, but, well, kind of. Like, it was, I think, 200 or 220 feet in diameter or something like that. And each car held something like 40 people. So think about your regular Ferris wheel that you would see at like a circus, not a circus, like a state fair, right? They fit what, 4, 6 people, something like that. These cars were the size of train cars. And so the axle, the middle axle for this thing had to be massive. And it was. At the time, it was actually the biggest, thickest, most dense single piece of steel ever forged in history. So much so to the point that they actually could not disassemble it. They couldn't cut it with the what do you call them, the torches and whatnot that they would normally use to cut it into pieces. They couldn't take it apart because they just didn't get hot enough to cut through it because it was so thick. And so what did they do? They blew up the Ferris wheel. Yes, you heard me right. They blew up the entire Ferris wheel, and the spokes, those were thin enough to be melted down and repurposed. But the axle, there's nothing you can do with a piece of steel that big. So what'd they do? They buried it. They rolled it over a couple 100 feet away from where it was for the fair, and they buried this thing in the ground. So still to this day, it's been confirmed with like metal detector type equipment. Still to this day, that entire axle from the first ever Ferris wheel is buried beneath an intersection near the not Phoenix, St. Louis Zoo. So I think it would be cool to be able to do something on that, but I just don't know how I'd be able to do it. Like if I can't show it, I don't know how exciting it would be for you guys to watch. But there is a Ferris wheel in Phoenix that I could go and ride that I could show to you guys. So I don't know. But let's see. Where else do I want to visit? Oh, so I've gone and this is another thing that I've gone and done before the channel was really a thing. I would love to go and do like a full tour, and this has been done to death, but it's not about being the first person to do things. It's about enjoying yourself and doing it your own way, right? And one of the things I would love to do for the channel is to go back to Albuquerque and give you guys a tour of all of the Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul filming locations that I can find. I've seen the house, I've seen Hank's house, I've seen Saul's office, I've seen the laundromat, the dog house, I've seen Jesse Pinkman's house from the show. And there's actually a small museum there. They call it the official Breaking Bad store. And they have one of the most densely packed small museums that I have ever seen. And I'm talking about they have everything. They have costumes, they have props, they have furniture in there. And they have so much stuff that they can't actually fit all of it into the museum. So they have to rotate it out every so often. So every time you go back, you're going to see something new. I've been there twice already, and both times I've found something new. In fact, I actually have a shirt here that I bought the last time that I was there. You guys are going to like this. But anyway, so that would be a fun thing to do. I actually have a friend that, and again, not going to name her for obvious reasons, but she works in the film industry, and she actually worked in the costume department on Better Call Saul. Now, I would love to get her on and have her come along with us for the tour, but I don't believe she lives in Albuquerque anymore. So I don't know if that would be possible, but man, it sure would be cool. There's actually a filming location that's also a museum that I would love to go to, and it's like I think it's like an atomic bomb or atomic sciences museum that I think would really be cool to see. And speaking of the atomic bomb, the 1,200 pins that I have, they're not limited to just the US either. I have dozens upon dozens of international locations. And one of them is Hiroshima. And I have a friend that actually lived in Hiroshima for a year. And so, who knows, maybe one day travel to Japan, bring my friend with me, and give you guys a tour of Hiroshima and see whatever there is to see there. I would also like to visit all of the Ripley's locations, which is relatively easy. I think there's only like 30 or something of them worldwide. But I've already done the one here in Arizona. It was pretty small though, so not sure I would go back there. But love to go to Washington D.C. too. I love history. So I actually grew up, and I've talked about this. I grew up in the Chicago area, and so I got to go to Aiden. Hey. Oh, I don't know what that emoji is, but that's adorable. But I would really love to go and do Springfield again. Do the Lincoln Presidential Museum, which I was there, but it was back when I was a kid. The Godfrey Hotel. I've heard of it. Tell me a little bit more about it in the comments, Matthew. And so, anyway, I would love to. Oh, thank you, Aiden. So, I forgot where I was now. But anyway, sorry guys, there's somebody next to me here being loud, so I got a little bit distracted. But anyway, so there's a million things that I would love to do. I would love to go to Poland one day and do the locations related to the Holocaust, and also retrace the footsteps of my grandfather. He fought in World War II in Germany and France, and so it would be really, really cool for me to be able to go to Germany and France and see the things that he might have seen while he was over there, because we, to this day, you stayed there when you went, and the housekeeper, potential manager, stole your Kiss. I know who Kiss is. Red wine. Well, that's rude. That's really rude. But so I'm sorry to hear that, man. I've had some bad experiences at hotels too. I had and this is not exactly a bottle of red wine, but on one of our road trips, I had this specialized pillow, right? And it's for like neck support and stuff. And I'm 100% certain that I left it in one of our hotels. And I called the last hotel that I had it at and asked them, hey, do you guys have this? Maybe I'll swing by and grab it from you on my way back. They just straight up lied and told me they didn't have it. So, believe it or yeah, that's not unheard of, hotels stealing things and lying about it and that kind of stuff. Hey, Ma. Guys, that's my mom there, Barbara Bodecker. Say hi to her. Tell her how beautiful she is and that you love her. She's the reason that you get to look at this face all day. But anyway, yeah, she was on that road trip with me that I was just talking about, where one of the hotels stole my pillow. So yeah, that was quite the debacle, unfortunately. It's okay. I had 6 of them. I gave one away to the Uber driver, and then 5th one was stolen. The other one went to my friend Connor in Miami. Then I drank the rest. Yeah, man. I've never really been much of a wine person, believe it or not. The one exception is in Chicago. We have this thing called Christkindl Market, all one word. And it is a German Christmas market, and they have traditional, like, Eastern European foods from real Eastern European vendors that come there. And it's made to look like an actual, German Christmas festival. And to the point that they even build... I complained to a manager, and the manager gave me money for all 6 when only one was stolen. Okay, well, hey, I mean, at least you got some kind of resolution, you know. But anyway, so this Christmas festival, they built this kind of mock German pub, and they still do this too. They build like a full-sized pub, and I don't know what it costs now, but when I was there, you would pay them $6 and you would get a little mug, and the design of the mug changed every year, so it was a collectible, and it came in the shape of a little boot, like Das Boot. And but with that $6, they would fill it with something called glue wine. And what glue wine is, if you're not aware, they take red wine and they heat it up to about 140 degrees or so, and they add in stuff like cinnamon, nutmeg, an orange and lemon peel, all kinds of stuff like that, right? And then they pour it and serve it. And I had never had red wine before at the time. And I took one sip of it and I went, oh boy, like, that stuff was strong, man. Wow. But it was delicious too. I've tried, because they sell it some places here. I've tried to heat it up so that we could have it, but it just hasn't been the same. So I don't know if maybe it's the way that I'm doing it, but if you've never had glue wine, highly recommend. Just drink in moderation. But that's another thing that I would like to do for the channel with you guys, is to take you back home to Chicago around Christmas season and show you what Chicago is like around Christmas, because I will go by this. Has to be just the right temperature. You're right, Ma. But I would love to go and show you guys what Chicago is like in Christmas time, because me and my mom, we actually used to go down there. Nowadays it's Macy's, but it used to be Marshall Fields. And the Marshall Fields on, I believe it was State Street, they would have a theme every year, and they would pick the theme and they would make these beautiful like dioramas in have I told her about you? Yes, I believe so. I believe I have told her about you, Mom. If I haven't, Matthew is the subscriber from the UK that's coming later this month that I'm going to go and do a video with at Eddie Guerrero's grave. And he's got a beautiful poem that he wrote for Eddie, so we're going to record that. We're going to try and work a song in for Eddie into the video that he had made. And we're going to go and probably grab lunch and talk about our favorite memories of Eddie. So, but back to winter in Chicago. But anyway, Chicago has this really bad reputation, and deservedly so, for winter. But hey, Larry, good to see you, man. But Chicago, deservingly so, has this really bad reputation for winter weather. And but early in winter, it's usually not so bad. And so I would love to take you guys there, show you Christkindl Market, show you, the windows at Macy's and all that kind of stuff. Because that was some of my favorite stuff to do with my mom when I was a kid. And, of course, I'd like to do that with her again, too. So, Ma, if you ever feel up to it, I'd love to do it with you. but I would really love to do it with you guys for the channel too. Maybe even go live there. You know, one of the things that I really, really, really want to do is a tour of Wrigley Field. Like I mentioned earlier, I've been a massive Cubs fan. That was all thanks to my grandpa too. He was a Cubs fan his entire life, and he lived and died without ever seeing the Cubs win the World Series one time. And so when they finally did win the World Series, the Cubs, they had this tradition, right? And they still have this tradition to this day. Back before, social media and all that, after game day, if the Cubs won, they would hang a W flag. If the Cubs lost, they'd hang an L flag. And they would do that because the red line, the CTA red line, passed right by Wrigley Field. And there was nothing in the way. You could see right into the ballpark from the red line. And so they would, that was their way of telling people if the team won or lost. And so nowadays they don't do the L flag anymore. Like I said, lovable losers, right? But they have that W flag and they sell copies of that W flag. So I had one, and I went to go and watch that Game 7 at the movie theater, and I was watching it, and when they won, I started crying on my W flag. And it wasn't necessarily because the Cubs had won the World Series, although that was really cool. It was because in that moment, a bunch of memories just started flooding me all at once. And it was remembering all of those times watching Cubs games on the couch with my grandpa when I was a kid. And the fact that he lived and died, I think it was 83 or 84 years, without ever seeing them win the World Series and only seeing them play in the World Series once. That was really emotional for me. But one of the things I would really love to do for the channel is I would love to go and do a tour of Wrigley Field. Because, believe it or not, I've never done one before. It's one of my favorite places in the world. Been there a million times and never took the tour. I have done a tour of Soldier Field once, although I'm not really a football fan, so that didn't interest me all that much. But I would really, really, really love to go and do a tour of Wrigley Field. Unfortunately, nowadays with the modern tours, we would not be able to see the home locker room. For the same reason, I would assume that you can't see the Bears locker room at Soldier Field, because when I went on that tour, the tour guide explained that the architectural boat tour would be great too. Yeah, I actually know somebody, I'm not sure if she still does those, but our old photographer from the Statesville, one of the haunted houses that I worked at, she actually used to, I'm not sure if she still does, give those boat tours down the Chicago River. So that would be cool. Or the Sea Dogs, which is like a speedboat ride out on Lake Michigan. That would be a lot of fun too. But anyway, when I went to Soldier Field, the tour guide, he had said they used to give tours that went into the Bears locker room, but what happened was people started bringing in box cutters, and as he was giving the tour, people would be using box cutters to cut out pieces of the rug, cut out pieces of the carpet and whatnot, to take home with them as souvenirs. So they would vandalize the Bears locker room to take pieces home. And so to this day, now, if it doesn't matter if it's the President of the United States, the Pope, Taylor Swift, it doesn't matter. If they go and they play at Soldier Field, they have to use the visitors' locker room now. Because ever since then, what happened was the Bears renegotiated their contract with the city, and they put it in their contract that for as long as they play there, nobody else is allowed to use the home locker room. Not tours, not concerts, nobody. So think of the biggest names in the world that have played at Soldier Field. They have to use the visitors' locker room. Some of the biggest celebrities in the world. And there's also a museum that just recently moved and reopened in Chicago that I would love to go to, because I actually have a background somewhat in doing this, is the Museum of Broadcast Communications is what it's called. And they show the history of television production. And they actually have the original set from Svengoolie. They have original production equipment from, NBC, ABC. They have original costumes from Saturday Night Live and stuff like that. And it looks really, really cool. I am very into television history, filming locations, stuff like that. I would love to go and do the locations of Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure one day. And but the thing is, like I said earlier, if I'm going to do that kind of stuff, then I want to do it in my own way, in a way that nobody else has done it. And so what I would do is I would do something that most other people would be unwilling to do. And I think you guys will love this idea. But the water park, and actually, I should mention this too, Larry, Be Yourself Adventures there, actually worked on Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. So if and when I do that video, I would probably do it with Larry, because we would want those behind the scenes stories and stuff. But there's one filming location that I may actually, if I do it, make it a completely separate video. And that is the water park. It's Golfland Sunsplash in Phoenix, if I remember correctly. And the reason I would do it separately is because I would want to do something just completely obnoxious, right? Just for fun. And I'm not even sure if this is doable, because I haven't looked up to see if that water park allows cameras or anything like that. A lot of them don't. But I would love to go and do Golfland Sunsplash well dressed as Napoleon was in the movie at Golfland Sunsplash. With, the big hat and the old-timey swimsuit and all that. Like, I feel like that would be so funny to do and get me so many strange looks, but I feel like it would be so fun. That's the kind of stuff that I'm talking about, though, is, maybe some of the locations that I do will be a retread, but I would like to do them in ways that you guys maybe have never seen them done before. And so, I'm open to ideas too. I'm open to suggestions. Aiden, hey, thanks for sticking around. But, like I said, my mom, she tuned in a little bit late here. But, Mom, I was just telling them about how Uncle Brad, would do the family trip to Disney every year, and how I would love to do that for you and me, for us to be able to go to a Disney or Universal park together one day. And this stuff, a lot of this stuff right now is just pie in the sky. Like it's there, and it's things I want to do, and it's things that I plan to do, but it's probably going to be pretty far off in the future. It would be pretty cool. But again, if there's stuff that you guys would like to see me do, let me know in the comments, man. Like, I'm open to suggestions. I know, Connor, you said day in the life of a haunted house actor. That would be cool. I agree. I would really, really love to do that. I would also love to one day collaborate with guys like Scott on Tape, Jacob the Carpetbagger, Grim Life Collective, or Sean Clark. Sean Clark's another big inspiration of mine with his Horrors Hollowed Ground series. You hit the wrong button and knocked yourself off of the stream. Why did you do that? But anyway, yeah, these are all things that I would love to do. But as this channel grows, I'm going to be looking to you guys to see what you want to see too. Because at the end of the day, this is about you guys. This channel is powered by you guys, When I eventually reach a level where I can qualify for monetization, it's going to be because of you guys. It's going to be because you guys lent me your time and watched all these videos. So, and if you want to help the channel out, that's the best way to do it. Just watch everything I put out from front to back, because we've cleared every hurdle as of right now to monetization except for one, and that's the watch hours. We're getting close to 3,000, so I would be able to start taking super chats, selling merch and stuff like that on the channel, and make a little bit of money. But I can't get ad money until we get to 4,000 watch hours. So if you guys want to help me out, if you want to help me get there and help me get to a point where we can travel and start doing more stuff and cooler stuff, all you got to do is just watch everything that I do, and let me know what you want to see. And always hit the like button, the share button, all that. I'm assuming most of you guys are subscribed. If not, hit that subscribe button. Yeah, man, it's been such an incredible year, and there's so much more to come. I'm almost overwhelmed at how fast this success has come. Subscription is free. Yes, it is free. Once I reach 3,000 watch hours, there will be an option to pay a monthly fee, but that is not required. That's only for extra things. Like I might do, that's called channel memberships. Like I might do the occasional members only live stream, but we will always be having live streams for free right here on the channel for anybody that wants to watch them. And I already have a Patreon, but there's not a ton on there because I just haven't been able to do a ton. It's only $5 a month. But again, all the stuff, all the videos that go on there are eventually going to be on here for free. You're usually just getting those a couple of hours before they go live on the channel. So, but you guys have been fantastic so far, man. Like, you can ask my mom, man. I've been so humbled by the amount of support that I've received throughout all of this. I'll talk about this in my next video, but there was a recent gesture of kindness that I was asked not to outright mention this person by name, but somebody made a very generous gesture of kindness to this channel's future. That I'll talk about it, but I'm gonna honor their. I'll talk about it in the next video. But I'm also going to respect their wish of not naming them, not shouting them out, etc. Because they're not doing it for that. They're doing it just to be kind and support the channel. So, but man, I've appreciated this so much because, you know, when I was growing up, I didn't have a lot of friends, man. Not until probably, you know, freshman, sophomore year of high school did I really start to make a lot of friends. I grew up and I was bullied a lot, and it was really, really bad. And most of that time I was too nice a lot of the time to stand up for myself. And that's something that I wish wasn't the case. But later on in high school, I found my haunted house community. And that's when that started to change. I started to come out of my shell. And that's where I kind of learned to be part of a community. And that's the kind of community that I'm trying to build here too, because I want to build a community where everybody is welcome. You know, on I don't recall who it was, but on our last stream, somebody came out. Somebody told us that they were bi and that their mother was not thrilled about it when she found out. And I told that person, I said, you're always going to be welcome here. You will always have a place here in this community. And I will never have people in this community who are hateful, are disrespectful of other people's lives and the way that they choose to live their lives, who they love, whatever. That is always going to be something that you're going to see here, is that everybody's going to be accepted. And if that's not something that you're down with, then I understand. There are plenty of other YouTube channels out there for you to enjoy. But this community is going to love and respect everybody. You don't have to agree with everybody, but you're going to respect everybody here. If not, bye-bye. So, yeah, man, that's all I really have to ask of you guys, is that as this community grows, you welcome people, you know, because I don't want anybody in this community to ever feel like they don't belong, because I've been there before. I've been there where I didn't feel like I belonged. And it is the absolute most just horrible feeling that you could possibly have. Like, I remember those times. I remember inviting my entire class to my birthday party when I was, I believe, in middle school. And literally not a single person showed up. To now, God didn't create us to fit in. God created us to stand out. Exactly. Matthew, you get it. You get it. Okay? That's exactly what this is all about. If we were all exactly the same, this world would be so boring, man. Our uniqueness is what makes us all special, man. That's what makes this community special is that I, a kid who grew up with very, very, very few friends, now have over 1,000 people that want to hear what I have to say and see what I'm doing. And that can be possible for anybody. You don't have to be on YouTube. You don't have to put yourself out there publicly in order for that to be a thing. You can come to this community and you can be a part of that. That's all there is to it. You know, because eventually I'm going to start hosting meetups like Scott does too. And I don't want... This is something that I've talked with Jason about extensively. I don't ever want money or location. Well, I mean, location is going to be a little bit difficult because this is a big country, but I don't ever want things like money to be a barrier between me and the people that watch this channel. You know, like if I ever do a meetup that is paid, I'm also going to do a meetup in that same area that's either very, very cheap or 100% free. Because, you know, there's a reason that I'm doing this on YouTube. And it's not just because YouTube has one of the best payment programs as far as creators go. It's also because it's the most easy way for people to be able to access me. If you go to my channel page right now, there's a link there in my bio. And along with the ways to support the channel, there's also Facebook and Instagram where just about anybody can send me a message. And I'll talk to you. I will talk to you. You know? As far as this YouTube thing goes, I come from the school of guys like Adam the Woo, like Scott on Tape. And Adam would do videos with people that he didn't even like, just because he wanted to help other people, even if he didn't like them. He wanted to be that light in the community that lifted other people up. And unfortunately, he's not with us anymore. So it's on us. It's on us to keep that light going and to lift each other up. And I'm so proud that this community so far has done that. You know? And I'm sure that eventually there'll be, as the channel grows, there'll be negativity that'll pop up. But you know what? There's ways to handle that. There's ways to deal with all these people that are unhappy with themselves and try to make other people unhappy too. And I have no doubts in my mind that this community will overcome that. That we will be louder than the negative ones. I'm glad you said about the light. I literally wrote a verse about that on your poem I signed for you. Matthew, thank you so much for that too, man. Because that it means a lot to me, man, that you think enough of me personally without us having met face to face, that you would think enough of me to not just make me a copy of that, but to sign it for me as well. So that is really, really special to me. Thank you so much. Now, if only I had about 1 million more subscribers just like you, man. That's the kind of subscriber that every creator wants to have, is someone that is so loyal, you know. And so that is very, very special to me. Thank you so much. I I'm so glad my mom's here to that my mom's here to hear me say this too. But I was raised to involve everybody, to try to never leave anybody out. And because, as I've said before, I've been left out. I've been left out of things so many times. And even to this day, when it happens, it still hurts. It doesn't happen as often, thankfully. I have I have friends from back home that I talk to almost every day. I should print off a few more, maybe send one to a subscriber. That would be cool. That would be really, really cool. Uh, you know, because I'm hoping that video takes off, because I would really love to see, our devotion and our love for Eddie get the attention that it deserves. Because, I mean, that first video that I did at Eddie Guerrero's grave, it did so incredibly well. I think it's at like 29,000 something views right now. And actually, the 1 year anniversary of when I posted that video is coming up too. And so I would love to, you know, maybe give away in that video to a random subscriber a copy of that poem. I would love that. So, yeah, if you would do that, Matthew, if you would do that for me, I would love that, man. That's what Adam would he referred to it as the circle of goodness. And the circle, they have a saying within the country music industry in Nashville, and that is the circle will shall remain unbroken. And I'm not sure where it started. I can guess it's one of two places. It's either the Opry, because there's a circle of the stage where they swapped it out with a piece of the stage from the Ryman, which is where the Opry started. And the other is at the Country Music Hall of Fame in Nashville. If you go there at the end, there's a circular room with plaques all around it from floor to ceiling. The circle on the stage came after. Okay, so maybe they're talking about the Hall of Fame then. But at the end of the Country Music Hall of Fame, there's a circular room with plaques from floor to ceiling showing every single inductee into the Country Music Hall of Fame. And so somewhere in there, I'm not sure exactly where the saying came from, came the saying, the circle shall remain unbroken. And I'm going to add that here too, that the circle of goodness shall remain unbroken. Because, I mean, Adam the Woo might not be here anymore, but you and I still are. And as long as we live in a way that would make Adam proud, it's from the gospel song, Will the Circle Be Unbroken? Okay. Thank you so much for that, Ma. I'm not, listen, I love country music, but I am not well versed enough in it to know that. And, but you get the point though, that we want to keep that going. You know, we want everybody to feel welcome here, to feel welcome in this community, and to know that they're loved. Because I've seen through my haunted house community what it can be like when people don't feel loved. You're talking about kids who have been disowned by their parents because they're gay. You're talking about kids who go home at the end of the night and don't have food to eat because of you know, mom and dad spent the money on booze and stuff like that. And so, and some of these kids, some of them have taken their lives. Friends of mine have taken their lives because of stuff like that, because of depression and whatnot. And so we want to be that light, man. You know, I've had people tell me before that I'm the only reason they're still alive today. And that's not something that I say to brag about it. That's something to say that you never know what it could mean to somebody just by reaching out to them at the right time. You could be saving somebody's life with a phone call. You know, you could be, just by saying, hey, you're not alone, saving somebody's life. Yes, I have had a few friends go like that. And so, as this channel goes, I mean, as it grows, I aim for it to be more than just a YouTube channel. I want this to be a community too. You know, I want people to be able to come in here and share their experiences and talk about their lives. Now, we're mostly going to steer clear of stuff like politics, stuff like religion, just because those kinds of conversations can become so volatile, you know. But if somebody, like, if we go and do a presidential museum, like earlier I was talking about, I, as a kid, went to the Abraham Lincoln Presidential Museum in Springfield. And if we go and do, you know, a presidential museum, sure, talk about politics in the comments, man, as long as you keep it respectful. That's all that I ask. People are more than welcome to give their opinions and stuff like that. But I just want this to be a place where people are comfortable being themselves, you know, because there's so much ugliness in the world, man. And I don't want to be part of that. I want to be part of the light. I want to be the reason that somebody smiles on a bad day. And I want you guys to do that with me too. Like, if you ever see somebody that's in the comments that says something about they're struggling, they're having a bad day, whatever, I want you to try to uplift them with me. I want you to try and uplift those people with me. Because this, look, I might be the guy looking into the camera. I might be the guy talking for 2 hours right now, okay? But this channel's not just about me. It's about you guys too. Because I wouldn't be getting close to monetization if you guys weren't watching. I have you guys to thank for that. And so a piece of this channel belongs to you guys too. Like, ultimately, am I going to be the guy that decides what I'm doing and what I'm not doing? Yes. But you guys are going to have a voice in that too. And I'm not talking about just people on Patreon. I'm talking about all of you. That's why I have the chat turned on here. I could turn the chat off if I wanted to and just talk to this camera, but that'd be no fun. Why would I do that? That would be so boring. Does it help us watching you now for your monetization? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. It counts towards monetization every minute that you watch on a live broadcast. The only ones that don't count are either, let me try to remember. So watch time from shorts does not count, which sucks, because if it did, I would already be monetized. But, and the other one is views from videos that are not public. So if I were to send you a video that's set to unlisted, which means it's uploaded to YouTube, it's just not showing up publicly yet. If I was to send you that and you were to watch it, that watch time would not count. But watching lives and watching any, archived content, even an archived live, yes, that absolutely counts towards monetization. So the hours that we get from this will validate in about 5 days or so, give or take 5 or 6 days, and those will be added to the total. And if I'm being honest, that's part of the reason why I'm thinking about starting to do a weekly live stream, is because it would help tremendously towards getting me monetized. So, I think I ducked out for a second. It just said reconnecting, but anyway, can you guys still see me and hear me okay? Let me know in the comments if you can still see and hear me. Okay, cool, perfect. It briefly said reconnecting on my end, so. But, man, yeah, it's, recently, the reason why I haven't put anything out long form recently is because I've been tapering off of a medication that I was on that's been making it very, very difficult for me to sleep. Some nights I'm lucky to get 4 or 5 hours of sleep. And so, thankfully that's starting to level off a little bit. You're getting an Eddie tribute tattoo the day after we meet. That's awesome. If you have a drawing of that, I would love to see it one day. Or the day that we're together. I'd love to show it on camera even. The letters of his name. Okay. That's beautiful. That's really, really sweet. Like Rey Mysterio. Oh man. That, it's surprising to me how many of Eddie's friends and coworkers haven't been out to visit his grave yet. Like Rey Mysterio just went there for the first time a couple of years ago. Dominic Mysterio just went for the first time, I think, earlier this year or late last year. And Matthew, as you know, because I saw this in your cameo from Chris Jericho, he still hasn't been out to see Eddie's grave, and he was one of Eddie's best friends. But then again, you think about how busy these people are, and it's really not all that shocking. So, yeah, man, it's, I would love to also, Matthew, you may know this, you may not, but actually, Chavo Guerrero Sr. is also buried in Arizona, but it's way up north. I believe west of Flagstaff. I don't remember exactly where. So I would love to go and do a video. Oh yeah, Ray. Yeah, I believe so as well. I believe he's been there twice as well. But I would love to go and do a video at Chavo Guerrero Sr.'s grave. Now, to be clear, we're not talking about the Chavo that Eddie used to tag team with. We're talking about the guy that was known in WWE as Chavo Classic. And, but yeah, his grave is in northern Arizona. I actually found, there's a video, I forget the name of the channel that it's on though. It was another guy that went and did, he did the Phoenix Madison Square Garden, and this was a guy that had actually wrestled most of the Guerrero brothers. And it was really, really fascinating. I'm going to have to look it up, and maybe I'll post it to my community tab or something like that later for you guys to give a watch to, because he had some really interesting stuff to say. But I would love to, because like I said, going out of state is going to be probably way off in the future, but it's not out of the realm of possibility to eventually go and do like a weekend in Tucson, a weekend in Flagstaff, a weekend in Sedona, something like that. So those are all things that, I could probably do at least 1 or 2 of those this year, would be my guess. I had thought Jerome. Yes, yes, that is a big one. I love Jerome. For those of you who don't know, Jerome is this beautiful little mountain mining town. That when I say it's a mountain town, I mean if you go down a side street there, and my mom will vouch for this. This is actually a hilarious story. We went up there in her 2007 Toyota Tundra and drove up the mountain in this thing. Big truck, 4.7 liter V8, massive thing with a lot of power, right? And so anyway, I made a wrong turn. And so we ended up on some of the residential streets there. And a lot of the residential streets are gravel. And there's no guardrails on the side of a mountain. And so this is so steep here that the roofs of a lot of the houses are level with the road. Like, you could literally drive off the road onto somebody's roof there. And so we got up to this very steep hill. And Mom already knows where I'm going with this. And she's in the passenger seat. And off to the right of her, just a couple of feet, is just a straight drop down, right? But I didn't feel there was enough room for me to turn around. And so I pulled up to the bottom of this gravel hill and I was like, well, and I was like, well, I don't really have another option. And so I pulled up to the bottom of the hill, just got the front wheels up to the bottom, and just, I told her, I was like, relax, just breathe. And then I just put the pedal to the metal, man. And that thing threw gravel out behind us. Probably littered somebody's roof with gravel. And thankfully, we made it all the way up just fine. But man, I was, if you've guys ever seen the Cheech and Chong movie, I think it was Up in Smoke, where Tommy Chong, he just looks at Cheech and he goes, mellow out, man. That was me looking at my mom in the passenger seat. But they have this cool little museum there that talks about the mining history of the town and the paranormal goings on there. And they have this thing called Audrey Headframe Park. She was in the passenger side looking straight down the mountain. Yep. So anyway, they have this place called Audrey Headframe Park. And this is the headframe where they would enter the mine shaft. And they kept the mine shaft intact with all of the equipment still there. And so you can go and you can see this equipment and learn about, mines and head frames there. And they have all kinds of plaques and stuff teaching you about the history. But the coolest and scariest part is you can actually stand on top of the head frame. Now this head frame, this shaft of the head frame rather, is 1,900 feet deep. Think about the tallest skyscraper you've ever seen. Chances are it's less than 1,900 feet. And all that's standing between you and the bottom of that mine shaft is the wind calmed down. Do you think you could go outside, or would that mess it up? Like, you don't want to mess around. I'm thinking we're probably nearing the end of the stream now, just because my phone battery's getting low and I'm getting hungry. So I'm probably just going to stick around in the car. But all that's separating you from the 1,900-foot drop is a sheet of plexiglass. And that's it. They even put lights part of the way down, and you still can't see the bottom. So there's that. There's a couple of nearly 1 a.m. Wow. Yeah, that's fine, Matthew. Whenever you gotta go, you feel free, man. I won't be offended or anything. But I think we'll probably be wrapping up here soon anyway, because we're getting close to the 2-hour mark of me just yapping my gums. So, but man, yeah, I would love to take you guys to Jerome. They have a sliding jail there that slid like several hundred feet away from the police station. Matthew, thank you for coming, man. Go get some sleep. Sleep well, man. But yeah, it's about dinner time here. That's Mom's not so subtle way of telling me to get to the grocery store and bring dinner home. Speaking of, did the dogs get their dinner yet? But that's something else I got to do. You guys got to meet Buddy and Bambi one day. Maybe I'll bring them on for a live stream one day, because Bambi's the sweetest thing ever, and Buddy's Buddy. But I think you guys would love him. Bambi's the friendliest little thing ever. So maybe there's a dog park here. So maybe we'll go live from the Sundance, or I forgot. I don't like to say where where I am, but maybe we'll go live from the dog park one day or something. So yeah, it's man, what a time it's been. I was really, really nervous that nobody would show up for this thing, because like I said, I tried to do this Tuesday and nobody showed up. You know, I was talking for like 20 minutes, for 20 minutes or so, and nobody showed up. So it's really, really nice, really, really humbling that a few people showed up here today. And because like I said, man, I grew up not a lot of friends, so this idea that a bunch of strangers want to hear what I have to say is incredibly, incredibly humbling to me. And it's something that's not lost on me, that you guys are lending me this much of your time. It really, really means a lot to me. My voice is starting to get hoarse because I'm talking so much. Oh, Buddy was going nuts. Yeah, I can imagine so. But man, I think it is about time that we wrap this thing up, because we're about a minute and a half away from 2 hours. So, man, we got through a lot today. A lot. And I cannot thank you guys enough for being on this journey with me, man. Because this is going to be a long road, but it's only going to be longer if I'm here alone. And so I am. Oh, show you my shirt. This is one of the T-shirts from the haunted house I used to work at, Hell's Gate. It's, if you look closely, it's a bunch of skeleton keys, all making up a skull. So the keys, okay, last story. So the keys are part of the lore at Hell's Gate. Everything that we do as a company at Zombie Army, that's the company that I used to work for, everything has a reason. There's always a story. There's always a reason for everything that's happening around you. Now, there was an urban legend in the Chicago area that there was a haunted house that was so crazy that if you made it all the way through, you would get your money back. Now, whether that ever existed or not for real it's a point of contention among a lot of people. Some people say that it did. Some people say that it didn't. But when Hell's Gate opened, the owner, John, my former boss, wanted to find a way to kind of incorporate something similar into Hell's Gate. And how that started was originally there was a game. Have a great night. Oh, Cece, thank you so much, and happy full moon to you as well. But so how it originally started was it was a game where there was a room in the haunted house, and somewhere in that room they had hidden a skeleton key. And if you found that skeleton key in the, I think, 20 or 30 seconds that they gave you to find it, then you would take that skeleton key back to the gift shop and you would give it to them in the gift shop and they would give you your ticket money back. Now, that created like a flow control problem because you're trying to tell people the rules, you're trying to, make sure that they're not climbing on things and that they're not running into each other, and you got to get them out after the time's expired. And it was too much of a bottleneck for the rest of the haunted house. So what they've turned it into now, or at least how it was the last time that I was there, is every night they'll pick a character, one of the icon characters that wander all around the property throughout the night. And they'll pick a character, and that character is the key master for that night. And the key master, you ask them if they are the key master, they say yes, and then they'll give you a trivia question about Hell's Gate. And if you answer that trivia question correctly, they will give you the key. You take the key to the gift shop, and the gift shop gives you your ticket money back. Now, they don't make it easy, though, because I'll tell you this, I worked for that company for 15 years, and I heard one of their questions, and even I was not able to answer it correctly. So, what a time it has been. As I said, that is our last story. We've already been here for 2 hours today. And I have had such a great time with you guys. Like I said, I was really, really nervous that nobody would show up again because, nobody showed up on Tuesday. But now I know I just need to give you guys notice and let you know that I'm going to be here. So, what do you say? Maybe next Friday, same time, we can do this again and hopefully make it a weekly thing. It might not always be on Friday, but I'll let you guys know 2-3 days in advance so you can make your plans, whatever, to be here. And, man, thank you so much for being here. And with that, I must bid you all adieu and say goodbye and good night.